do you know what this number is? Does it ring any bells?
But I think you're referring to my compensation in some way.
Yeah, well, in some way. This was your compensation in 2017 for being CEO of Celgene, and that's a lot of money. It's 200 times the average American's income and 360 times what the average senior gets on Social Security. Now, of that 13 million, about 2.1 million came from your company hitting yearly earning targets. And more than half of the bonus formula was based on those targets. Any increase in the price of Revlimid would also increase your bonus by increasing earnings. Isn't that right, Mr. Ellis?
If revenues increased and expenses did not, then earnings would be enhanced.
Thank you. Mr. Ellis, in fact, the Oversight Committee found that if you hadn't increased the price of Revlimid, you wouldn't have gotten your bonus. Mr. Ellis, do you know how much you personally received in bonuses over 2 years, the last 2 years, just because Celgene raised the price of this one drug, Revlimid?
I receive very generous compensation, but I don't know the exact number that you're referring to.
In fact, you personally received $500,000 personally just by tripling the price of Revlimid. So to recap here, the drug didn't get any better, the cancer patients didn't get any better, you just got better at making money. You just refined your skills at price gouging. And to be clear, the taxpayers spent $3.3 billion on Revlimid.
That was California Congresswoman Katie Porter tearing into a big pharma CEO for raising the cost of Revlimid, which is used to treat cancer. And it's obviously an expensive treatment. And what she made very clear there was that these corporate leeches have a direct incentive to make the things that save people's lives more expensive and more inaccessible. That without a doubt, they make more money when it's harder for people to get the medicine they need. And she notes there that if you raise the price of something and it doesn't cost any more to produce it, you're not producing anything new. You're not innovating it in any way. You're not making it more effective. You're not changing it. You're just raising the price. That'll make the company richer, and that will make the company more money, and that will raise their salary, their take-home pay, because these CEOs are often paid based on the earnings of their company or stock prices or what have you. The richer the company, the richer they get. But that comes at a deep human cost. And I think what this shows us is ultimately more than even a lot of clips have shown, Katie Porter with her whiteboard, that healthcare cannot be market-based. Healthcare in any way, whether we're talking about medicine or procedures or needing to stay in a hospital or elder care or whatever, healthcare cannot be regulated by the market. It is far too important. Demand is far too inelastic that even if you do believe that capitalism should play a role in some areas, any responsible person knows it has no place in basic human needs, like healthcare especially, but also things like education. And so what this shows the need for is at the very least reform around how medicines and pharmaceuticals are priced, but ultimately we need Medicare for all. We need Medicare for all. Medicare for all is needed for every person in the world, because without Medicare for all, this will always be an issue. And without one single central buyer through a single payer system, companies like this, CEOs like this, will be able to use essential medications like Revlimid and whatever to basically gouge individuals and insurance companies even and taxpayers and what have you. Everyone needs to be together, unified in a single payer system. And I can tell you this, as a Canadian, I can tell you this, that in Canada we have a single payer system. We do. but it doesn't cover medications. And one of the problems with that is that when it comes to the flaws of the Canadian system, they're most evident in where the universality and the single payer policies don't apply. And so you have issues in Canada where people can go see a doctor, but then can't fill the prescription. And so you can have better price levels in Canada, and we do. And you can have generally more accessibility to medicine, and we do. But at the end of the day, as long as anyone has to pay anything for any medication, we do not have justice in healthcare. And as long as corporations are allowed to profit off the death of others, there is no justice. Good job for Katie Porter showing us this.